let's start off with a test. Do you normally talk like this? Talk like this? Normally talk like this? If we're trying to become stronger communicators in any language that we speak, then we need to make sure that we can incorporate a balance between all three of them and use them appropriately. But there's a great chance that right now, you're not even thinking about how fast you talk when you talk. Let's change that a little bit. Hey guys, welcome back to Forward. This is our dive into the beautiful aspects of communication to give you the tools you need to become a more effective speaker in any situation. And we're going to be taking a look at another short little poem here, and we're going to be playing around a bit with speed. Let's take a look at our text, just kind of read it from a neutral position, talk about some of the sounds that are happening here, and then talk about some techniques that we can do with speed to help this become a little bit more evocative and expressive. Here is our poem. Red race car, soaring down the driveway, the cardinal. Okay, so a couple of things before we start playing with speed. You're going to notice that this has lots of R sounds. If you're a person that struggles a little bit with R sounds, just some quick tips on that. The R sound is actually, it's a really light sound, and a lot of people are kind of overdoing it because they hear that it needs to be really strong. But the reality is it's not like a type sound. It's over rah, 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 rah. So some things that are going to help with this is, just kind of raising that back of your tongue a little bit, but not too high. It doesn't actually need to make contact with the top of your mouth. It's just a little high on that R sound. If you don't know how to do that, another thing that may be helpful is make like a G sound, like a g, g, g. When you do that, that's the back of your tongue going high. So try to transition from like a g to a rus, like g, ra, g, ra, g, ra, g, ra. If you find that you're doing like a g, 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 or things like that, that's a sign that our contact is really, really strong. We don't really care as much about the G and the R. We care about the sounds around them, especially like the vowels. Okay, so some of our words here that have some R sounds that we want to get more comfortable with. So we have the word red. So some little exercises that you can do when we look at these words. We're going to take off the R and then throw the R back in. It's like ed, red, ed, red. Our next one here is the word car. So like car, 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 car. Next one here is driveway. Driveway. It's like I've, drive, I've, drive, I've, drive. And we also have the word soaring. It's like so, soar, so, soar, so, soar. And we have the word cardinal. So it's kind of like what we saw with car as well. It's like car, 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 car. Just kind of bouncing between those. All right, so if we're going to play around with speed, let's start off just kind of reading that first line slowly. Okay, so we have red race car. And my challenge for you is, hey, can you even maybe say that twice as slow? Just as a challenge. Not that it's going to be necessary for when we talk, but just as an exercise. Get used to speaking differently. It's like red race car. Perfect. Okay. Let's take a look at our second line. So we have soaring down the driveway. This can be let's do the opposite. Let's play around with speed here so we get a few more words because our last line is pretty short. So let's try to say this fast. Soaring down the driveway. Can we say it faster than that? Soaring down the driveway. Can we say it faster than that? Soaring down the driveway. Soaring down the driveway. Soaring down the driveway. You might be like, hey, this doesn't even make sense anymore, but that's okay because this is an exercise. It's not how we're actually going to talk, but we want to practice pushing our limits. What's our limit for sounding slow? What's our limit for sounding fast? And by better understanding what those are, we're going to understand that there's a spectrum, right? If this is the fastest I can do and this is the slowest I can do, look at all this range that I have to play with. And that's going to be helpful for us in terms of becoming more effective communicators, is understanding the tools that are available to us, right? And then our last line, let's imagine that our last line is our slowest, or not our slowest, just kind of like let's use like a medium, just like a regular pace. The cardinal. Not extra slow, not extra fast, just kind of hanging out there in a neutral way, the cardinal. So let's put all of that together. Let's do our first one really, really slow, our second line really, really fast, and then our last line neutral. Red race car soaring down driveway, the cardinal. Were you able to do that? Now, let's talk about the poem in terms of if we were actually going to communicate this to someone, we might not use like, you know, real slow and real fast and neutral. You might see more of a balance, right? For me, the second line has so much action happening. So I think that whatever I do, I think that second line, I want to go a little bit faster on. Okay, but maybe my first line doesn't have to go that slow. In fact, maybe I'll save the slowest for the last line, just as another little experiment. Okay, so we're going to do fast, 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 and then go slow. So what would that sound like if we ran that experiment? It's like, red race car soaring down the driveway, the cardinal. Again, red race car soaring down the driveway, the cardinal. Notice there too that was some other play that I did. We played around with pitch because by having that kind of gradual increase in pitch and going higher, 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 it's a way to kind of convey more excitement. Like imagine you're actually doing the race. Okay, because if you do that real slow, like red race car soaring down the driveway, you lose so much of the energy, right? And you lose kind of the scene. It feels almost contradictory, right? You have this thing describing very fast movement, but then your voice is doing the exact opposite of that, right? So it has the complete opposite effect. So play around with the speed here. Play around with sections where you think it goes well fast, sections where you think it goes well slow. My question for you is what word do you think works best if you say it fast? And what word do you think works best if you say it slow? Happy playing, happy communicating. We'll see you guys later.